Hey guys, so this is going to be my video about what I do the night before when I'm looking for trades and for opportunities as a options trader who trades the strat. So first off, you want to look at whatever the futures are looking like, meaning what is the S&P 500, the SPY looking like, what is the IWM looking like, etc., etc. Because since we are traders and we know what can give us high probability or what can give us a probability of things occurring going into the next day, then we can kind of figure out what we should be preparing for. And that's, you might be like, okay, well, Alex, what happens when that doesn't happen? That is exactly what the pre-market scanning and stuff is for, which I will do in another video. But so we go to the SPY, and I'm actually going to be doing my whole routine here since I have not done it yet. So if you can draw broad information, go for it. You're going to see we have this larger one and this smaller one. And if you go to the larger time frames, you're going to see this daily. So 3, 2 up red. So setting up a 3, 2, 2, and we closed way down here. So more likely to take out that than we are to come and take out that. So we should prepare for more downside. We also have CPI numbers tomorrow, which should be interesting. So the magnitude of that day is to be coming down here. Now if we go to the week, what is that weekly magnitude? That is to come all the way down here, which it is going to be Thursday tomorrow, so not something I would exactly be super prepared for, but here's your targets, and if it hits this and keeps going, likely you're going to go and take out that. You can see your broad informations and why that is going to be important. We're also coming off of new all-time highs, so huge exhaustion risk here too. And now we can go to QQQ. So what is QQQ doing? Inside day red. Where's your broad information? You draw them front to back, so you can have it like this. And if you want the smaller time frame one, it looks like that, and it expanded. So you draw this one like so. And if this went inside day down, whereas we expect that to go, we expect that to go here, potentially here. And what does the week look like? 2 up, slightly green. So could potentially get all the way down there if that news is bad enough, right? And you'd see if we go to a lower time frame, that's exactly what the broad information looks like. It started like this, expanded down, came back through to the upside, now potentially could take it back down. Now we go to IWM, which great example of why we do this. So let's see, clear drawing set. So you're gonna see this going into this week. I believe this was on Monday. So obviously we have downtrend resistance, which not something the strat teaches, but you can use it to try and figure out what other people are looking at, where we might actually have breakouts that are bigger than the rest. So something we want to look at, and you're going to see this. So if we connect these lower highs, it's going to look like this. So failed that, and now we have what? We have Momo Hammer, 2 up, slightly red. Now if we come in the next day and we take out this high and continue higher, and the rest of the stuff does not do that, then that's what we'd want to know about. And if we go to SPY on the daily, you're going to see this happened yesterday. Gapped up, went red. Or 2 days ago, inside day. Now if we go to QQQ, you can see 2 days ago, this was inside day most of the day, then just broke out right at the end of the day. Now if we go to IWM 2 days ago, hammer and force to the upside, that was the leader. We knew about that going into the open, and if you're not believing that, then we can go back up to that day, and where is it? I think it's this one right up here. Oh no, it's way down here. That is my bad. I went way too far up. Oh, there we go. Sorry, brain fart. All right, so you can see we posted that right before. Just IWM, something to be looking at for sure. And then what do we know? Monday, every single meme stock rallied, and pump stocks, which are mostly going to be small caps, and we knew about that for sure. And now since we know that, we're going to see the same thing IWM, 2 up, red. So the whole market is having this same type of setup, but which ones are going to be the weakest? Since IWM is already way above that weekly open down here, we would go look to something else. So we can look at QQQ. That one was inside day, so didn't take out yesterday's high, so weaker than SPY, like that. So this one did take out yesterday's high, coming back through. And now we know to be looking at SPY and QQQ first, because those are going to be weaker, closer to that red week. And IWM would be a nice second. Like if this wants to fall back through, you're gonna see that and that. So everyone tried to get long off that, and now they got what they wanted. The market went up, but now if we come back through, they're gonna get what they want again and get stopped out. So there you go, right? Now, knowing that we want to look at the SPY and Qs mostly, you can either scan based on, once again, which indice they're going to be in, which I believe is going to be down here. So you can scan through the S&P 500, you can scan through the Russell index, the Russell, you can scan through the NASDAQ, which is somewhere up here, etc. But I am too lazy to do that. So what I do is I just scan three very basic things. So I scan two up in red. And since the market all looks like that, that's what I'm going to start with. And you're going to see this, which two up in red is just going to be two up to three down on my list. So you're going to see this. Most of the market's going to look like that, right? And then my next scan would be two down in green, because again, those give you the possibilities to go compound outside bar for the 2-2 reversal, right? And you're going to see it very, very small list. This one is already outside bar and MDLZ now. This one potentially could do something tomorrow. If the whole market were to take out tomorrow's lows, if the whole market were to take out today's lows tomorrow morning, and this were to take out those highs, that's something I'd want to know about. And again, the reason that we look for that is because anyone that tried to short this day, the whole market's taken out yet today's lows tomorrow morning, and your stock that you shorted is taken out yesterday's highs, then you're going to want to buy that and get the hell out of there. So that would squeeze it up. And for an example of that, we can go to Target. So this was one of the days where SPY gapped down. Target gapped up, kicking pattern, took out those highs and squeezed those shorts right out of their position. You could see that very, very easily. But I digress. Anyways, we can go then to the, two up, 2, 3 down, since the whole market looks like that. And you can sort it by whatever you would like. Normally I just do like ATR or by price based on what we're looking at. Normally I start with the bigger ones first. So I'll normally skip all these that are super high priced and move a lot, because those spreads are horrible on Google and other ones. So we'll start with cost. And again, you can link this now to the chart right here, and you can see that. So we'll start with cost, and we'll kind of see what's going on. So two up, we have a kind of a shooter candle, chopping sideways, so potentially inside month doji. Not something that I really want to mess with. What's the weekly look like? Looks like that. So potentially you can draw whatever trend lines you feel like drawing if that helps you see it better. Potentially it could be 3, what is that, 3-2? Potentially it could be 2-2 continuation week to the downside, but there's probably going to be better setups, so move on to the next one. And you see MA, this is something we've been looking at before. Compound, see here. Consolidation, going to be inside month, but potentially could take out last month's lows, but I want to find things that are actually moving. So now we have Roku, see the daily, shooter day, 2 up. What's the magnitude on that? Down to 33. And we know that Qs is going to be something that is weaker, and same as SPY, so Roku's going to fall under that. So what are the, let's just see, what are the 333 puts pricing in on Roku for this week? So now 335, so we'd have to go a little lower, so 332.25 or 332.50. And the reason I do this is because I like trading cheaper contracts. If you don't care about the price, just buy at the money, in the money, and you should be fine. But $200 for that, not too shabby. And if you want to kind of calculate what the price is going to be tomorrow if it were to drop, now we can go like this. Use the theoretical price, which the way you do that is you click Theo right here on Thinkorswim, and then change it to tomorrow's date. And if it were to drop, 33, so $6, how much would these be worth? So these would go a little bit less than 100% tomorrow. So probably going to find something better, but definitely could be something I'd look at. Here is Alta, nearly outside day, so it doesn't have too much magnitude, but we can look at the weekly, see what that's doing. So double inside a week shooter candle, so hopefully that can stay in for next week. That'd be a nice one. W, interesting. So continues to make higher lows, huge wicks on top, which I don't know, that looks like consolidation. So inside month. So potential to go 3-month. How close is that to doing it? Here's the daily. Outside bar 3. Where are the targets? So take that out. Next swing low target. This one you could throw in there, but it gets cluttery, starts to clutter, etc. So how far could we realistically expect this to go? So we can draw your broadening formation, which depending on where we take out, depends where the broadening formation is. The first targets could be this 3. By definition, that's broadening formation. And you can see right here, compound outside bar of these bars. Now we take out the high, go red and start coming back through. Potentially goes 322, hits the other side of the range, maybe goes even lower, 305. So I'd want to know what those probably 315 puts are looking like on W, which I know is kind of spready normally. So kind of spready, but we could go a little further or a little closer. So you can see if you can go in the money with expensive options, go for it. Those are an 8-cent spread, right? As for what we could possibly trade, the lowest spread is going to be the 312.5s or the 320s. So 320s have a 12% spread. Not too bad. How much would those be worth if we came down here? Around $700. What are they trading at? 340. So definitely this is something we could look at going into tomorrow if you feel like trading some more expensive options. So normally I'll just screenshot it, throw it into the Discord right here. So 6/9/2021, and we have W. I forget exactly what the setup is. Let's see. So potential 3-2 day, 3-2 day, and the 320 put would be worth around 700. And there you go. So there's one play. So now we can continue going down the list. You see TWLO, slow, little small magnitude on that right there. We can see this is the weekly open. So potentially could come back through here. Look for something a little better though. More magnitude. So HD. So this one's kind of been sitting, and we'll look at that week. So compound inside bar here. So 212 underneath right here, 309.08. First target is going to be down here after you fill that gap, right? And now we can go to daily, see where our other targets would be and where our entry would be. So first targets would be 304, just about. So we'd look at 304 puts, see what those are looking like. 302.5s. So bad spread on those, but the 305s are trading pretty cheap with a 6% spread. So those are pricing going to move to 304, just about. So as long as we hit that before expiration, we should be making some type of money. I don't have the delta. We do have the delta. So if this were to drop $3 from the current price, it would go up around $1, so around 100%. But we'd obviously want it to puke some more. So let's say those CPI inflation numbers are crazy tomorrow. Maybe that were to happen. So that's something we can definitely just look at. And tomorrow's only Thursday, so not expiration day. And if we hit 100%er, we can potentially just swing it into Friday, right? Still nothing too crazy. So there you go. Now, if we were to come down here with the 305 put, those would be worth $500, around 500%. So that's something we would love to happen, right? Now we can look at PayPal, which is going to be tech. You can draw your trend lines out if you want, and then you can draw your broadening formations, see what those look like. So there's your higher highs. You can see consolidation turns into broadening formation. Stop out people up here, come back through, stop them out again. Kind of see what that hourly looks like. Here would be your daily to the downside, which I do like the look of this chart. Shooter day, and then what do we have? We have a lot of pivots lined up right here. So your first magnitude is 260.57. So 260 puts trading around $1. So if you held those to expiration, the first magnitude is going to take out that. And the reason I'm not really looking at these weekly charts is because, first of all, huge topping candle and barely green, right? So then we also look at that monthly. Two failed two nearly because it's just barely green. So not very, very important. Plus, if we're day trading, all we need is that day and 60 to be going in our direction for day trades. So you see, potentially we could come and take out all these pivots right back through the range, which would not be too surprising if we do decide to dump tomorrow. And once again, those 260 puts trading around $1. So it's pricing in a move to what? Right here. So if we were to drop all the way to here, that's 400% if we held it to expiration. So potentially could be a pretty solid one, eh? Now we go here and say we're looking at the 260 put. Who's saying that? PayPal 260 puts. So we'd be looking for around 100% again at that first target. Bottom of that micro try. And by the way, if let's say there's like news events, I forget exactly when the CPI comes out. But when those numbers come out is kind of important because if they come out before the open, then a lot of these plays could be negated. So you don't really have to put too much effort into it and just kind of play the gappers. But let's see. So they come out 8:30 a.m. So they come out right at market open, unless that might be not my time. It could be an hour after market. Bureau of Labor Statistics, blah, 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 blah. So we know for a fact they come out tomorrow, but I'm not exactly sure what 8:30 a.m. It might be market time, which would put that an hour before market open. So potentially could mess up some stuff, but we're just going to act like it's not going to be happening for this video. Plus, we need to see what's going on. Even if this does gap, that's still 2-2 reversal, and there's still pivots below, you know? So now you can go look at Visa. It's going to be the same type of thing. You have potential rev strat right here, magnitude to come and take out this, and then we have tons of pivots below still. So pivot, 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 right? So potentially could get a nice flush if things want to do that, but inside month, so got to be wary of that. But two up in red week, so you never know. The magnitude in the week still to come and take out that potentially. Still going to skip that. Now we can look at target. So going into exhaustion risk, huge shooter on the week, 1 bar reversal, and pivot machine gun below. I want to know about that for sure. And now let's just say we can expect it to get 2 pivots down. So we'll say 229. What are the options pricing in? A move right to 229 for those 230 puts. But the 227.5s are really cheap. Let's see. Can we expect those to hit? Maybe if it wants to puke. Let's see how does it puke? Potentially. So definitely looking back and kind of seeing what can happen to the stock also just kind of gives you, it's not going to be completely non-subjective, but it can kind of give you an idea of what can happen if you were to look at HD. So you can see this one likes to puke really hard. A lot of people shorted that candle to the downside and took it all the way down, kind of like same exact setup Target has. So you can see it repeating that same type of pattern. So 227.5 put would be a nice little YOLO because if the IV spikes up, you could, because pivot machine gun 3-2 could puke and take out all these people really quickly. If that IV were to spike up, then those would easily go over 100%. So that's something we could swing into Friday for maybe 1,000% gain. You never know. So targets, we'd look at the 270, what? Not 275, 297.5. I believe that is. Sorry, I messed up my numbers. 227.5, yeah. So 227.5. 227.5 put is trading at around 32 cents. It'd be worth intrinsic value at over 100 at the bottom of that pivot machine gun. Same type of look as HD right when it puked. And just throw that in there, and then also say the at the money could be safer just because you don't have to worry about theta wrecking you all day. So you can see same type of setup as PayPal, whatever, OLED, so same type of thing, expand to the upside, potentially expand it back to the downside. I know OLED options are kind of, yeah, no thank you. ADP looks choppy to me, but does it like to puke? It does, potentially. And options are, they're not too bad, 197.5, so it's only pricing in a move to 196.5. So now what can we potentially expect? What, this moved around $5 on a huge red day. Looks like it does that a lot though. And now we have pivots below too, so pricing to move to right here, which is magnitude just for the day. That weekly, if it were to go 3, you'd see something similar. And you can see everyone's gonna be watching a trend line like this or something, right? Maybe like this, whatever. A lot of people are probably going to be looking to short that, sell out of it, get stopped out, whatever. So 197.5 move to 196.5 or 196.25. Now pivots below. Let's see what this move normally. This move is $5, so $5 current price. Potentially could go what, 196? I think go around 300%, I want to say. 200 to 300 if it were to put in a day like that again. So 197.5 puts, ADP 97.5 puts, lots of nice pivots below. Just getting a little lazy, don't feel like typing out all the extra stuff. And you're gonna see pretty much everything same exact type of look. Now we got Chewy 1-bar rev strats on the daily. Weekly opens right here, so next target would be to negate that weekly open, and then potentially come and puke down here. Does it like to puke, or can it? Let's see. 3, definitely can. And if we get some really bad numbers tomorrow, which for those that don't know, the CPI is going to be Consumer Price Index, which tells you the inflation rates and stuff. And the whole reason all of these huge growth companies, new companies, online companies all crashed from way up here is going to be because of fear of rising interest rates. So the reason that's important is if the news is bad tomorrow, and bad news would be the Consumer Price Index being a lot higher, which we already know it is. That would cause these to likely crash again if the Fed says that they're going to be taking any actions to prevent that. Because with growth companies, when the money gets more expensive, meaning that interest rates go higher and less people will want to lend to new companies trying new things, you are going to have some issues, because if money becomes more expensive with a higher interest rate, therefore it's going to be more expensive, right? You're going to see all of these companies having trouble getting their hands on money. So that's not good for the growth sector. And we're going to see the same thing on pretty much most of them. So you're going to see solar companies, because those are all the hype and brand new and trading what, like 50 times whatever they're actually worth was what everyone kept saying. This one, I know the options normally aren't too good. 20 cents, 10 cents, 76, could go to 74. Looks pretty good to me. 76 put looks good for a potential move to 74 and shooter and macro try. But the reason that happens is because everyone's like, oh, all these companies, they're trading 100 times what they're worth. It's like, well, if you can get pretty much any money that you really need to make the company, then yeah, they're going to be worth a lot more because they have access to all that type of money. Now you take all that access to money away, and those companies are going to have a very hard time actually providing any type of growth or revenue. So that's why those forward-looking PEs crash when something like this were to occur. You're going to see micro tries everywhere, which is kind of like one of my best, or not best, but one of my favorite types of things to play. See, FSLY, interesting. So filled the gap. now having some trouble. Potentially could take that short tomorrow. And you might be looking at all these like, oh my God, it's so obvious. There's no way that's ever going to happen. And no, it does happen. So I'm going to make this video only a half hour. I do not feel like going over that, and I doubt you guys want to hear me talk that much anyways. And they all look the exact same. So I'm going to probably cut it short soon. We'll just look at the inside day scan because I bet a lot of things did that with the Qs. So let's see. Where is it? Right there. Inside day, and you can see, boom, just tons of freaking inside days. Let's see. We'll sort it the other way around. All right. Let's see. G Pro. Inside day doji. Other bar problems if we tried to take it down, so likely not something we want to do. Inside day on forward, potential pivot machine gun back up. Maybe if they rotate back out of those growth stocks and try and force money into safer companies, which I wouldn't say that's forward, but it's going to be likely energies and other things that have to do with commodity prices. This looks beautiful on PLTR for a nice short to the downside. You're going to see huge pivot machine gun. You're going to see mother bar. What do we know about consolidations? They start new broadening formations. Inside, inside, inside. Take out the high of the range. Potential inside bar reversal. Take out the low of the range, right? And since PLTR, low IV, I already know those options are likely not pricing it in, especially because there's probably not going to be any news for PLTR anytime this week. So this looks great. Oh, my bad. So now we can go to options. What? Entry short, 24. Look at the 23.5s. Potentially, let's see, 23.5s. Pricing going to move to 23.40 or 23.35. So down here at 23. So probably not worth it to actually go that far all the money. Now the 24s are pricing going to move not even to 23.5. And that is going to be one of our first couple targets with the pivot machine gun, right? So definitely something I would want to be looking at. So all we have to do is go like that, screenshot it, and post that to Twitter because everyone loves the pivot machine guns, right? So go like this. So simple enough. We are nearing that 30-minute mark for you guys, but gonna keep on going, and you're gonna see. So let's say that's good news. Now this would be kicking pattern to the upside, huge pivot machine gun, which you're gonna see there's one day that made a new high, but the pivots are close together, which is all that I really look for. And you're gonna notice if you look at the plays that did decent today, it's just these pivots are close together. And this was pivot machine gun, kind of 1, 2, 3, 4. Compound inside bar, gap up, and go, boom, 400%er, right? So pretty simple. Just look for those close pivots, and you can pretty much get a nice big mover almost every day. And if you don't find anything, then you just look at those gappers, which we can get into in the future. And you're gonna see potentially expand the broad information. That's another way that you can get some nice moves. You're gonna see right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4 taps. So respected. Everyone's watching it. Now, what do we know about broadening formations? We take out one side and then go back through. And the reason that happens is because you stop people out when you do that. You're going to see stops right here. Boom, stop them all out. And I bet if I showed you the volume on this day, it was really big too, at least down there. But now you get expansion of the try and you take your profit quick because just as fast as it goes out, it comes back in. But could potentially come back down. You have some nice pivots right there. Still not really going to be looking at it. SLB, potential inside day, doji, or whatever you want to call it, hammer potentially. 60-cent move. What are these pricing in? About 60, what? Not 60 cents. About 30 cents, so 36, 32, so they could go around 1 to 130% on Friday for the expiration, blah, blah, blah. Look at ON. See ON 3.1, and if you go to AMD, it's 3.2. So we know AMD's a lot weaker. And by the way, when you see a company, like if I'm looking at, I don't know, let's just think of an easy one. if I'm looking at ON, then I easily know to go and look at other semiconductors. And if I'm looking at gaps or GPS, gap, whatever, I then know to go look at things like potentially Macy's, which it's a squeeze stock, and you can see broad information expansion, boom, right? We know about that. We're just talking about it. Let's see, Macy's, you can go to AEO. You can see 2 up red, nice pivots below potentially. You can go to ANF, 2 up red, pivots below, and some gaps. So interesting. You can see pivot machine gun back up, gap, take them out. Now bring them back down. There's your broadening information. Pretty simple stuff. EXPR, which is pump stock, meme stock, whatever. Now, if we get bad news tomorrow, what happens to the meme stocks? They dump. They likely dump. It doesn't have to happen, but that's what you'd look for. So let's say this thing were to puke, which we definitely know. We definitely know it can do that, right? You're gonna see not a single reversal. I guess right here, gap down and then go green, but not a single reversal, and then boom, 2-2, just taking them all out. So can that happen again? Of course. Can we be there for it? Yep. Here's your 15.5 puts. Pricing gonna move to 15.2 with or 5.2. First target is gonna be 5. So that's a nice cheap option for sure. So that's actually something I'd be looking at, right? And you're gonna notice I'm not really looking at these larger time frames. So that's solely because day trading, you just need to go with what's happening that day. Those larger time frames are gonna be what's happening for the current week. And from day to day, trends can change. So that's just how we do it, at least for me. You can always look for inside days on like weeks that are 2 up to get the continuation into full time frame continuity. But a lot of the moves, they all start on the lower time frames. You can see we could have shorted this day right here, even though everything else was green. And that's the beauty of being a day trader. You don't have to really worry about the rest. So thank you guys for watching. That's around 32 minutes. So sorry about that, but hopefully that helps you see kind of what to look for. And I will see you guys in the next video.